Alright guys, my hypo was that we would come sweep these highs on this 15-minute chart, and we ended up pushing a little higher than I expected. But the 30-second chart has a nice reversal pattern. I would like to see it leave town, but I went ahead and tried. I'm going to try to add to my total that I've already got, but we're holed up at 50 right now. We don't want to push below it. So we do have a nice PD array. We have respected this so far. Stop is way up here above the high. I'm hoping it'll flush back down to settlement, because it seems to have liked settlement. NQ has only been there once, but ES has been there multiple times. And so I'm hoping that ES will lead the way back to settlement. We already swept these highs on the higher time frame. Unless we're going all the way to the moon and making a new high of the day, I think this is our reversal point. It's middle of the day. I think that this one has some potential. So will it work out or won't it? I think even if I lose this one, I'm still going to have a qualifying day, so I'm just going to try to let it play out, not try to over manage it too much. But there is definitely a potential that it could be a loser. We ripped up here. I mean, this was an aggressive climb. That is a big move in just a couple of minutes, and I may lose it. But I just wanted to have record of it. So, the 5 minutes, 5-minute candles. We started that move right here. These two are the main ones. Right here to there. All the way to the high, I guess. 134 points in 10 minutes. And it seemed like it was even faster than that. Bearish order block. I like this. We just need to leave town. That's all. And we may not. I may get smoked. But that's days that I've seen trade like this. This is the typical deal. It tries to make one more push higher and fails, and then goes back to settlement or close to it. So I hope that happens here. I didn't get in the best location. 80 would have been a better spot, but that's where I was actually on a 30-second chart, and that's where the fair value gap was, so that's why I got in there. Breaker on this one would be right here, and we are going to it on the 30-second chart. We're going to it pretty close. The highest point, it's actually right here. That's our breaker. We just touched it to the tick. And so adding here might not be a bad idea. Just make sure. Yeah, we touched it to the freaking tick. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna add one more right there. And let's see if we can get down there to settlement. This will be a nice trade. And if we start ripping higher again, then I might hedge it with 3 of these MES. I would expect a mass exodus after touching that breaker like that. But it is a 30-second chart, so it's not as reliable as a 1-minute chart. It's kind of like that 15-second chart. It would not look right. Let's look at the 1 minute. Yeah, 1 minute breakers here, so it wasn't a direct touch on the 1 minute, but it was on the 30. I'll take it. Fall out of bed, you sorry devil. I don't guess we necessarily need to watch that. We'll watch these two, and I'll keep it where I can put my finger on that flatten all button if we start ripping higher. So NQ is our main one because that's the one we're in. I will make it into a 5-minute chart here. Let's do a 30. Oh man, it's ripping higher. 30-second chart. And let's mark out that breaker again. It doesn't even have one over here. That's the breaker on the MNQ. We're touching it again. Let's do a 1 minute. It would be the order block on here that we would be using as our breaker here. And we just worked into it again. So yeah, this may be a loser. I'm sure hoping it's not, but it may be. I got in a situation earlier where I was down $100 on a trade, and I took 3 of these in the opposing direction, and they just wiggled enough to where I ended up getting out of that trade at break even without a loss. So I might do that again if I get in trouble on this one. But I think we're going to be okay on this one. What time of day is it? It's 2:30, so we're close to the end of the day. I don't see it making a new high at this time of day. I mean, it could, but going back to settlement is a much more likely option. But it's going to need to start heading that way pretty quick. This would be the power hour. That's what I should name it. Power hour. I'm going to edit it. There we go. Now we got power hour. I really don't want to have to hold this to MOC. I need to see it start leaving town here. Maybe I'll just take $50 and be happy. Because I could turn my good day into a bad day real quick here. Let's see what ES is doing. Because ES has been putting up the cleaner signals. Let's look at this 1 minute. Okay, so we have the order block pulled away with a fair value gap, remaining below the center point of the fair value gap. There's the fair value gap there. Yeah. ES, this can color way outside the lines, but that's our actual breaker and we have not validated it yet. We tried and failed. This is the breaker over here for NQ. If we can get down there and even fail to validate it, I might take it off. But if we get back to settlement, this is an $800 trade. And since we've been doing all this bar coding with 15-minute candles for so long, all day, I would think we would return to somewhere in here. This is definitely point of control. If you're a market profile guy, point of control's here. So I would expect it to go back down in that direction. Let's watch a 5-minute chart so we don't get so nervous watching these little candles bounce. I'll put 15 minutes over here. We could put a quadrant on that wick right there and make sure we stay below the halfway point. If we don't, kill it, type of thing. I could definitely get a better entry here because we are popping off that line the whole time. 15-minute candles may be scarier than 1-minute candles. Those things just dancing. If I lost 167, I would still have a qualifying day in the low boy. Come on. Don't do it again. Don't go back. It looks like it's doing it. Yep, that's it. Yep, it's going to make a new high, apparently. And even that wick, we're above it. We're above the halfway point. Not with candle bodies, but we could go to 807 again. We could poke that high again. Yeah, I would say 99% right now I'm going to lose this trade. And I don't want to lose that much. I'm going to try for a better entry. I don't know. Look at that. $153. That's crap. So we're just going to go make a new high of the day this late in the day. I see. What are we aiming for? Well, I still have a qualifying day by $3, so that's it. I'm not gonna try anything else. I'm not gonna risk missing a qualifying day. Had a good trade this morning. Everything was good there. Kind of bummed I even took that trade now. It was a good hypo. It really was. And it probably is still going to pan out. I'm just not willing to risk my qualifying day on this. The normal price action when we've been down here all day is that we would take these highs and fall out of bed right back down to settlement. And so, and we still, very well could. 66.80 is a reversal point typically, and we're not reversing. So we may go all the way back to 6,700, touch that breaker, and then go back to settlement. That would be nice. Y'all have to take advantage of that. These are just freaking wild swings to me. 1 minute candle right here, okay? This green one right here, 38 points. This one right here coming down, probably going to be more than 38 points. So you better be spot on your entry or you're going to get ripped. Well, these were already revisited during the day. I mean, why are we even here? Opening range high is here. Fair value gap leaving. This breaker is there. Why are we even here? We're trying to convince people we're going higher so they can rip the rug out from underneath them. I think that's why we're here. And I'm glad I locked it because I would be taking another trade right now. And I can't risk it. Can't risk it. I would like to get a home run day. I should have had one today. I killed it early. That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. I'll put it in over here. I'm going to do 2 micros. All the way to settlement. And my entry would have been better. 600. Where is settlement? 545. Right there. 545. That's what I would have had on if my entry would have been a little better. I got in prematurely. That actually, I mean, it didn't validate a breaker. It validated an order block, which are much less reliable. But I was eager to add to my day. I'm eager to have a home run day. What are you doing there, Goofy? We'll let it see if it'll pan out over here in the. If it goes $100 against me on this one here, then that would have been a loss. So I should put that in. $100 is all I would be willing to risk in a real account. We're actually still not validated the breaker. It's the breaker is right here and we're getting beneath it, but we haven't validated it yet. A validation would be a fair value gap to the downside beneath it. Well, I would have been a little more patient, waited just demanding that breaker validate. I wouldn't have lost that $100, $124, whatever it ended up being. When price goes a direction, it goes quick. Two micros, 38 points. It's nearly $160, and it did that in 1 minute, a 1 minute candle. You think you can't lose money doing micros? You can. Come on. You want to come out? Think you can't make money doing micros, you can. Especially in this volatile son of a gun. Settlement is nearly 400 points away. And it's probably gonna go. Uh-oh. Something's happening. Did we just validate a breaker for the downside, for the fair value gap? If I would have waited for this instead of trying to work off of that order block right there, this big red candle encouraged me. This would have been an $800 trade. I bet you it's going all the way back. We'll see what happens in power hour, but right now this candle, it really hadn't been a fair value gap yet, but it could be. We need 20 seconds for this candle to close and leave this open. I could go to break even here. My entry is below the breaker. That's bad. So I got to stay above the breaker. The breaker's at 64. This one is no longer valid. So we'll just use this one. It's 62. The high of the breaker at 79. So my stop needs to be above 79. Right there. All right, so we did leave the fair value gap. So far we have respected it. Entry one tick below the high of this candle. So an optimal entry would have been, let's see what the high is, 38.75. Optimal entry would be 38.50 to the downside. This is no longer even pertinent, I don't think. Maybe it is pertinent. ES has a ways to tumble, but not nearly as far as NQ. Hi, Omni Shukla. Hello, how are you? I had an alert in my phone to tell me when it hit this level earlier, because that was where I was going to take the short, and we didn't even slow down there. We just blew right through it like it was sitting still. Power hour, I mean, this is no, I don't want you there anymore. MOC is coming up. The last 10 minutes, we're going to see some fireworks today. We may go up, may get stopped. But one thing that's been a magnet today, and it may be where we should put our take profit, is this first presentation fair value gap on ES. And NQ, not so much as ES. I need to expand it out over here. I'm just going to make this one shrink. Do this and do this. There we go. Now we can see it better. Okay, so this first presentation fair value gap, it was worked quite a bit, but it didn't seem to respond quite as much. Once we got above it here, we did start seeing candle bodies respect it, and so that might be where we trade back to. We may not go all the way to settlement. We tried to push to settlement here and failed, but ES, especially on the higher time frames, when we got below it, we kind of stayed below it for a minute, but once we got back above it here, we wicked into the very middle of it. This is on a 5-minute chart, not a 1-minute chart. The 1-minute chart, you can kind of see we were using it as a barrier to the downside. Then when we broke through it, we came back down to this breaker to the upside. And then we started on our run high to take out this liquidity. I thought that's where we would stop, but this is kind of indicating we may offer higher here. We may not come back down to it, but I'm thinking this is about where we should stop. So comparatively speaking, this candle right here formed at 2:59 New York time. Let's find the one over here that formed at 2:59 New York time, right there. So yeah, I would say that's our take profit. So over here, I'm going to move it. What level was that? 657. 657. 657. If we go, that'll be where we're going. We may rip higher though, because that is a beautiful touch of the breaker right there. I wasn't even paying attention to that, because I could have taken that long up to the highs. I don't even know. I don't think I was at home when that occurred. I'd gone to the store. But on NQ, there was no breaker to reference. That's why I like watching both of them, because a lot of times ES will give a nice signal and NQ will just look like a bunch of jumbled up trash. But it'll move. It'll move. That's kind of odd, the way we wicked into this and then started up higher again. See if we can respect this fair value gap. Where's its breaker? Breaker's right here, right about the pre-high line. So maybe that pre-high does have some validity to it. So there's the breaker. Fair value gap has already been traded through. Yeah, we may push higher. Let's see. If we're gonna be heading lower, that's the line in the sand right there. It can trade through this. That's okay. But we don't want it to close. We don't want any candle bodies closing above the halfway point of this guy. Preferably, we would want to reject right off of it. So I'm thinking we are going to trade higher here. Because now we've validated a breaker to the upside right here with a fair value gap. Optimal entry to the upside would be at 65. And it's dicey right there. That's hard to read those, because what liquidity did we sweep down below? We definitely had an exhaustion wick. It's hard to read. Do we make a new high in the last 7 minutes of the day? Anything could happen. Maybe we go to settlement after the bell. I think this is, for ES, this is their draw. And so, where would that put us over here? Yeah, put us right above the fair value gap over here too. First prez, doing work, possibly. So this upside, if that is going to serve as a breaker in like right in the middle of the day, then we should pop the high. We should pop this high at least. See how we're performing over here on this breaker. You need to see that. So this breaker, we're heading up to it. We're about to touch it. Almost got it. Fair value gap's already been traded through, which is okay. That's what we want to see it respect. Candle bodies are not violating it. Wick can do the damage. Candle bodies have to remain below, or at least below the halfway point. Fireworks coming in 4 minutes, 3 minutes. That last minute of the day is when you see the craziest action. This thing will go up. It may go up and down both. If this was in a combine or a XFA, I would not be holding it any longer. I would be taking my $100 bill and running. This breaker right here is starting to get worked. We respected it too. It's really ambiguous. But I like the downside still. We swept midday liquidity. Double tap the high. Let's get a candle body close below here. There we go. Close. 17 seconds to close. So it could still end up ripping back up higher. This is the upside breaker I'm looking at right here. This green candle. That's the high of it. And then the low of it. And if candle bodies start closing below it, that means we're going bearish. This could possibly serve as an order block to the upside, and it have some sort of a reference point in here that it would say, okay, I don't want to go any lower than that. And usually that would be the halfway point of it, but it could also only refer to the wick. The halfway point right here at 58, if we can get candle bodies closing below the halfway point of that, more downside is certainly possible. But right now, we've touched the breaker, we've pulled away, but no fair value gaps to the downside. If I was in an XFA and my goal was to make $200, I'm almost there, and that is my goal. Don't laugh at $200. $200 in 5 combines, 5 XFAs, $200 day average is $20,000 a month. That's my ultimate goal. And I still actually do have $200 average today. That one I only made 153, but I made another one I had 353. So all total, I'm over $600 on the day. So I think this is the first day this month that I've actually hit my goal, but I'll take it. All right, here's this last minute. What's going to happen here? We're respecting this wick. We may just consolidate right here. We may not go anywhere. But I think this is our target right there. Really not at nearly, it's already 3. Not nearly as impressive as I thought it would be on this last minute of the day. It's kind of a nothing burger. That was the weakest MOC I believe I've ever seen. It actually continues to run for 5 minutes after the market closes, so you can see some strange movement here. But it is definitely respecting the halfway point of this order block. Maybe this is just where we dance, right in between these two right here. Doesn't go up, doesn't go down. The wicks, the way they're bouncing back up when it touches that line is saying up. Push through it. All right. So now we're at 75% of that. Yeah. Yeah. Keep on pushing. Keep pushing. Come to this dotted line right here. Come on. Come to Papa. We're almost there on NQ. We're closer. It's falling faster. Almost there. Come on. 657. Let's get there. That's our first fair value gap after revisiting the bearish breaker. So we should be good to get here. I don't know if we'll do it by 310, but we're definitely getting there. Oh man, it almost got me. Look at that wick on MNQ over here. It almost got me right there. Yeah, NQ is definitely falling out of bed faster than ES. Come on, 57. What's the low of that candle? The low is 64, so it was within 5 points or 6 points of getting me. Would it be the middle of that line? Yeah, it's right in the middle too. So yeah, the dotted line on both of these is where I'm looking for it to get. First press, doing work. You got 7 more minutes to get there. A smart man would lock in some profit here. $720 is actually a number it could pull back to. 80 to 20 rotation is pretty common, but we shouldn't get much over that right there. If we're going to have more downside, we'll respect this. But we did take that wick. Back to 700. Back to the midpoint of this order block. Yeah, we filled that whole thing in. Oh boy, what was that? What was that all about? Looks like we're going to the moon, and it says, wait a minute. Do I really want to do this? Get down there to that first press, make me look like a hero. Oh well. I'm taking my fake money and I'm going away. Yeah, it's definitely going to stop me out. Well, maybe not. It's definitely maybe not stopping me out. If it's inverting that, yeah, I would say we got like 99% chance we get stopped out. So that's an 80 to 20 rotation, actually a 64 to 20 rotation, 80 point run up right here at the end of the day. Very nice. Very typical. $306. there it went. Just like, you know, we could say we took that liquidity, and now we go to the moon. I don't think we're going anywhere else, to be honest. Just gonna stay right there. But that wasn't a bad trade. I wish I would have waited for a breaker to validate in this situation, because it did. Here, revisited down. NQ was even cleaner than that. Went up, made a new high, double tapped the high. I got in here before we validated, so that cost me $100. And here, valid, revisit, could have aimed just for that low right there and made a couple $100 on 2. Now, if I got in here at my optimal entry, that's one thing I wonder. Optimal entry would have been here. Would I have been okay? That's 24 points. I would have had to put an extra little bit of money on this thing. I probably would have put 30, 40 points on there to get something to get up above this fair value gap here. Would have been a 50-point stop loss. So that would have been another $100 on the risk. But it would have worked out if I was still sitting at 272 on the day, instead of getting in on this one based on the order block. But we were respecting that order block, and then we yanked away, so I thought for sure it was going that time. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Next time we'll see you tomorrow morning.